Feel 10 years younger with this night routine. You know, life has a funny way of sneaking up on you. One day, you feel unstoppable, full of energy, and ready to take on the world. Then suddenly, you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, and it hits you. Those lines around your eyes, the tired look that just won't go away, the stiffness in your body. It feels like life has added 10 years to you overnight. I know how that feels because I've been there. But what if I told you there is a way to feel 10 years younger? Not by some magic pill or expensive treatment, but by simply changing how you end your day. It's all about a night routine. And trust me, it works. I stumbled upon this routine by accident, really. I was exhausted from feeling worn out and old before my time. Sleep didn't seem to help. My body ached, and my mind was always foggy. I tried everything, from supplements to exercises that were supposed to work miracles, but nothing gave me that spark back. I felt defeated. It wasn't until I decided to change how I ended my day that everything turned around. It was like unlocking a secret to turning back the clock. And I want to share that secret with you because no one deserves to feel old before their time. It starts with unplugging from the world. We are constantly bombarded with information, notifications, and noise. Our minds never get a break, and that stress ages us faster than we realize. About an hour before bed, I turn off all my devices. No phone. No TV. No laptop. At first, it felt strange. I kept reaching for my phone, itching to check one more message or watch one more video. But as the days went by, I noticed something remarkable. My mind started to calm down. I felt lighter, like a burden had been lifted off my shoulders. It was as if the chaos in my head was finally quieting down. That peace allowed me to sleep deeper, and I woke up feeling more rested than I had in years. Once I unplugged, I moved on to clearing my mind. It's no secret that stress is a silent killer. It weighs you down, dulls your spirit, and ages you from the inside out. I didn't want that anymore. So I started journaling. Every night, I would sit down with a pen and paper and just write. I wrote about my day, my worries, my hopes, and everything in between. I didn't hold back. I let it all out on that piece of paper. It was like unloading a heavy backpack I didn't even realize I was carrying. It helped me let go of the tension and anxiety that had been weighing me down. My mind felt clearer, and my heart felt lighter. It's incredible how much younger you feel when you're not carrying emotional baggage around. After my mind was at ease, I focused on my body. I used to think that I was too tired to exercise before bed. But then I discovered stretching. Gentle, slow stretches that loosened up my stiff joints and relaxed my muscles. I'm not talking about a complicated yoga routine or a workout that leaves you drenched in sweat. Just simple stretches that made my body feel good. I would stretch my arms, legs, back, and neck. I held each stretch for a few deep breaths, feeling the tension melt away. It was as if my body was thanking me for taking care of it. The stiffness that made me feel old and achy started to fade. I began waking up without those dreaded morning aches. My body felt more flexible and alive. It was like getting a new lease on life. Then came the part that surprised me the most. I started meditating. Now, I used to think meditation was just sitting still and doing nothing. But it's so much more than that. It's about reconnecting with yourself and finding inner peace. I would sit quietly, close my eyes, and focus on my breathing. In and out. Slowly and deeply. At first, my mind would wander, but I gently guided it back to my breath every time. It was hard, but I didn't give up. Eventually, I learned to quiet my racing thoughts. That silence brought me a sense of calm I had never known before. My worries didn't disappear, but they stopped controlling me. I slept more soundly, and my mind felt sharper and more focused during the day. It was like waking up with a clearer, more youthful mind. I also discovered the magic of a warm drink before bed. Not just any drink, but a soothing herbal tea. Chamomile became my go-to. It relaxed me from the inside out, easing away the stress of the day. It was like a warm hug for my soul. It helped me sleep more deeply, and I woke up feeling refreshed and energized. No more dragging myself out of bed or feeling like a zombie all day. I felt alive again. But the real game changer was skincare. I never paid much attention to it before. I thought it was just vanity, but it's not. It's self-care. Every night, I started washing my face, getting rid of all the dirt and grime of the day. Then, I applied a simple moisturizer to keep my skin hydrated. It took only a few minutes, but it made a world of difference. My skin started to look brighter, smoother, and yes, younger. Those fine lines and tired eyes didn't seem so prominent anymore. People began to notice and asked me what my secret was. It was incredible. I didn't feel old and worn out. I felt vibrant and full of life again. The last piece of the puzzle was gratitude. Every night before bed, I took a moment to think about 3 things I was grateful for. It didn't have to be anything big. It could be something as simple as a warm meal, a kind word from a friend, or just the fact that I made it through another day. It shifted my mindset from focusing on what was wrong to appreciating what was right. It made me happier, lighter, and more at peace. And when you carry that kind of joy in your heart, it shows. You radiate youth and vitality because your spirit is alive and well. I won't lie to you. It wasn't easy at first. Changing habits never is. There were nights when I was too tired, too busy, or just not in the mood. But I kept at it because I wanted to feel better. And little by little, I did. I started to feel more energized. My mind was clearer. My body was stronger and more flexible. My skin looked healthier. And most importantly, I felt happier and more alive. I felt younger. Not just in my body but in my soul. I realized that age is just a number. What really matters is how you feel inside. And this night routine helped me feel like myself again. It turned back the clock not by erasing wrinkles or giving me boundless energy, but by restoring my zest for life. It gave me back my joy, my peace, and my hope. It made me feel like I was living again instead of just existing. I'm sharing this with you because I want you to feel it too. I want you to wake up feeling rested, alive, and ready to take on the day. I want you to look in the mirror and see a person full of life and possibility, not someone worn down by time and stress. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel young. And you can, just by changing how you end your day. How does practicing gratitude at night transform your mindset and inner happiness? I never used to think much about gratitude. It was just a word people threw around, like a nice thought that didn't mean much. Life was busy, and I was always focused on what I didn't have. I wanted more. More money, more success, more recognition. No matter what I achieved, it never felt like enough. There was always something missing. I would go to bed with my mind racing, worried about tomorrow, stressed about yesterday. Sleep didn't come easy, and when it did, it was restless. I would wake up just as tired as when I went to bed, weighed down by the constant pressure of never being satisfied. I was unhappy, but I didn't understand why. It was a heavy feeling, one that made me feel older than my years. It was like carrying an invisible burden that no one else could see. Then one night, something changed. I remember it clearly because it was one of those nights when I just couldn't sleep. My mind was a mess of worries and frustrations. I was exhausted. Out of sheer desperation, I tried something different. I sat up, closed my eyes, and thought about just one good thing that happened that day. Just one. It was a small moment. A stranger had smiled at me earlier in the day, and for a brief moment, it had made me feel less alone. I focused on that memory, letting myself relive that tiny, simple moment of kindness. To my surprise, I felt a wave of warmth and lightness wash over me. It was as if that single moment of gratitude had lifted a weight off my chest. I fell asleep easily that night, and when I woke up, I felt different. Lighter. More at peace. That was the night I discovered the power of practicing gratitude before bed. It sounds almost too simple to be true, but gratitude changes everything. You see, when you end your day focusing on what you're thankful for, it shifts your entire perspective. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, what you didn't achieve, or what you're worried about, you go to bed with a heart full of appreciation. It's like giving your mind permission to rest, to let go of all the stress and anxiety that weigh you down. It doesn't mean your problems disappear, but it does mean they stop controlling you. Gratitude softens the hard edges of life. It helps you see the beauty in the small, seemingly insignificant moments that make life worth living. I made it a habit. Every night before closing my eyes, I would think of 3 things I was grateful for. Sometimes they were big things, like good health or the love of my family. Other times they were small, like a warm cup of tea or the sound of rain outside my window. It didn't matter what they were. What mattered was that I took a moment to truly appreciate them, to feel the joy they brought me, no matter how brief or tiny that joy was. And the more I practiced, the easier it became. It was like training my mind to see the good in everything. The change in my mindset was remarkable. I started noticing positive things throughout my day because I knew I would need to remember them at night. It was like my brain was rewired to seek out the good instead of dwelling on the bad. Challenges didn't seem so overwhelming anymore because I was no longer fixated on them. Instead, I focused on the blessings in my life, and that gratitude gave me strength. It gave me hope. It made me realize that even on the toughest days, there was always something to be thankful for. Always. Practicing gratitude at night didn't just change how I saw the world. It changed how I felt inside. I began to feel more content, more at peace. That restless feeling of always wanting more started to fade. I stopped comparing myself to others. I stopped chasing after things that didn't matter. I learned to appreciate what I already had. And in doing so, I found happiness. Real, genuine happiness that wasn't dependent on circumstances or achievements. It came from within, and it stayed with me because I chose to nurture it every night before I went to sleep. It was like letting go of emotional baggage I didn't even realize I was carrying. All that resentment, bitterness, and envy melted away, replaced by a sense of peace and fulfillment. I felt lighter, freer. My heart was no longer weighed down by negativity. Gratitude opened my eyes to the beauty of life. It taught me to savor each moment, no matter how ordinary. It showed me that joy could be found in the simplest things. A smile, a sunset, a quiet moment of reflection. I stopped taking these little blessings for granted, and my life became richer because of it. The change wasn't just emotional. It was physical too. I started sleeping better. My mind was no longer racing with worries or regrets. I fell asleep faster and woke up feeling more rested. My body felt more relaxed because my mind was at peace. It was as if gratitude had healed me from the inside out. I had more energy, more motivation. I felt younger, more alive. It was incredible how something so simple could have such a profound impact. I realized that gratitude is not just about saying thank you. It's about truly feeling it deep in your heart. It's about embracing the present moment and appreciating it for what it is, without wishing for more or dwelling on what could have been. It's about recognizing the blessings that are already there, even when life is hard. Especially when life is hard. Gratitude is about choosing to see the light even in the darkest of times. And that choice changes everything. I won't pretend it was always easy. There were nights when I struggled to find something to be grateful for. Days that were filled with pain, disappointment, or loneliness. But even on those days, I forced myself to find at least one thing. Even if it was as simple as getting through the day. And that small act of gratitude, no matter how difficult, always made a difference. It reminded me that life is never completely dark. There is always a flicker of light if you choose to see it. Looking back, I realized that practicing gratitude at night transformed me from the inside out. It healed my mind, my heart, and my soul. It gave me a new perspective on life, one filled with hope and joy. It showed me that happiness isn't about having everything you want. It's about wanting everything you have. It's about embracing the present moment and finding beauty in the little things. And once you learn to do that, you'll find that life is more beautiful, more fulfilling, and yes, even more youthful. I share this with you because I want you to feel the same peace and happiness that I found. I want you to wake up each morning with a heart full of gratitude and a mind free of worry. I want you to feel lighter, happier, and more alive. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take a moment to count your blessings. No matter how small or insignificant they may seem, hold them close to your heart. Feel the joy they bring you. Let that gratitude fill you with peace and hope. And I promise you, it will transform your life just as it did mine. What role does emotional well-being play in maintaining a youthful spirit and appearance? You see, youth isn't just about the number of years you've lived. It's about how light you feel inside. It's about joy, hope, and curiosity. It's about waking up each day with a heart that's willing to embrace whatever comes next. I've met people half my age who seemed older than I am because they were weighed down by anger, resentment, or regret. And I've met people much older who had a twinkle in their eye and a spring in their step because they had learned the secret of emotional well-being. They knew how to let go, how to forgive, how to find beauty even in the pain. I learned this lesson the hard way. There was a time in my life when I carried bitterness like a shield. I thought it protected me from getting hurt, but all it did was close me off from the world. I was angry, resentful of things that had happened in the past. I would replay old arguments in my head, holding on to grudges that did nothing but weigh me down. I didn't realize it back then, but every negative emotion I held onto was etching lines onto my face and stealing the light from my eyes. I felt old, tired, worn out. It was like dragging a heavy sack of stones everywhere I went. It affected my health, my relationships, even my ability to enjoy the little moments that make life beautiful. It wasn't until I started letting go that I began to feel young again. I remember the day I decided to forgive. Not because they deserved it, but because I deserved peace. I closed my eyes and imagined all the hurt, anger, and resentment as dark smoke inside my chest. I took a deep breath and pictured that smoke leaving my body, dissolving into the air. I did this every night before bed, letting go of one burden at a time. It didn't happen overnight, but slowly, I began to feel lighter. My heart felt less heavy. My mind felt clearer. I started sleeping better, smiling more. And one day, when I looked in the mirror, I realized that my face looked different. The frown lines had softened. My eyes looked brighter. It was as if releasing that emotional weight had taken years off my appearance. Emotional well-being is powerful like that. It's not just about being happy all the time. It's about accepting life as it is, embracing both the joys and the sorrows. It's about not letting pain harden your heart. It's about allowing yourself to feel without being consumed by it. When you're at peace inside, it shows on the outside. Your face relaxes. Your eyes sparkle with curiosity and wonder. You laugh more freely, and that laughter is genuine, coming from a place of joy rather than as a mask to hide pain. I've learned that stress and worry are the greatest thieves of youth. When you carry stress, it tightens your muscles, stiffens your joints, and robs you of energy. It ages you from the inside out. I used to lie awake at night, replaying every mistake, every worry, every what if. It was exhausting. Then I learned to practice gratitude. Every night, before I closed my eyes, I would think of 3 things I was thankful for. Sometimes they were big things, like the love of my family. Sometimes they were small, like the way the sun felt on my face that afternoon. It didn't matter. What mattered was that I ended my day on a positive note. It eased my mind and helped me sleep peacefully. I woke up feeling refreshed, with a lighter heart and a brighter face. I also learned the power of connection. Isolation ages you faster than anything else. We are meant to share our lives with others. To laugh together, cry together, grow together. I made it a point to stay connected with loved ones. I reached out, even when it was hard. I listened, even when I didn't feel like talking. I learned that emotional well-being is nurtured through love and connection. It keeps you young because it keeps you hopeful. It reminds you that you are never truly alone. Hope is another secret to youth. It keeps your spirit alive, your eyes bright. Even when life is tough, hope allows you to look forward to better days. I've seen people lose everything, yet they remain unbroken because they held on to hope. And I've seen people who seem to have it all but are hollow inside because they've lost hope. I chose to be hopeful. Even on the darkest days, I chose to believe that light would return. It wasn't always easy, but it kept my spirit young. It kept me going. It kept me alive. Emotional well-being is about balance. It's about allowing yourself to feel the full spectrum of human emotions without letting them control you. It's about being vulnerable yet resilient. It's about finding peace amidst the chaos. When you achieve that balance, you radiate a youthful energy that no amount of makeup or surgery can replicate. It's the kind of beauty that comes from within, the kind that grows stronger with age. I share this with you because I want you to feel the same freedom, peace, and joy that I've found. I want you to look in the mirror and see not just the lines or gray hairs but the light in your eyes, the warmth in your smile. I want you to feel young not just in body but in spirit. And that begins with emotional well-being. It begins with letting go, forgiving, loving, hoping, and embracing life in all its messy, beautiful glory. How long does it take to notice real changes from following this night routine consistently? When I first started this night routine, I was impatient too. I wanted to see changes right away. I remember looking in the mirror every morning, searching for any sign of improvement. Did my wrinkles soften? Did my eyes look brighter? Was my energy better? At first, I saw nothing. It was frustrating, and I almost gave up. But then I reminded myself that nothing worth having comes easy or fast. Real change requires patience, persistence, and faith in the process. So I kept going, night after night, trusting that it would pay off eventually. After about 2 weeks, I started to feel a difference. It wasn't something I could see yet, but I could feel it inside. I was sleeping better, waking up more refreshed. My mind felt clearer, less cluttered. There was a calmness within me, a sense of peace that I hadn't felt in a long time. I realized that the routine was helping me unwind, helping me let go of the stresses of the day. That alone was worth it. I began to understand that the changes were happening inside me first, setting the foundation for the external transformation that would follow. By the end of the first month, the changes were more noticeable. My face looked more relaxed, the tension lines on my forehead and around my mouth had softened. My skin had a healthier glow, and the dark circles under my eyes were fading. I looked less tired, more vibrant. Friends and family started to notice too. They would comment on how well rested I looked, how bright my eyes were. It was a subtle difference, but it was there. And that gave me the motivation to keep going. I've always believed that consistency is the secret ingredient to success. It doesn't matter how perfect your routine is if you don't stick to it. I made a promise to myself that no matter how tired or busy I was, I would follow my night routine without fail. Some nights were harder than others. There were nights when I just wanted to collapse into bed and skip the whole thing. But I pushed through, reminding myself that each night was an investment in my well-being, my youth, my happiness. And it paid off. Around the 3-month mark, the changes were undeniable. My skin looked firmer, smoother. The fine lines around my eyes and mouth were less visible. I felt more energized, more alive. But it wasn't just about the physical changes. My mindset had shifted too. I felt more positive, more hopeful. I was sleeping deeply and waking up with a sense of purpose. I had more patience, more resilience. I was more present, more grateful for each day. The routine had become more than just a habit. It had become a ritual of self-care, a way of honoring myself each night. People started asking me what my secret was. They thought I had found some magic potion or had some cosmetic procedure done. They couldn't believe that the simple act of following a night routine could bring about such transformation. But that's the beauty of it. It wasn't about quick fixes or artificial solutions. It was about nurturing myself from the inside out. It was about letting go of stress, embracing peace, and creating an environment for my body and mind to heal and rejuvenate naturally. By the time 6 months rolled around, I felt like a new person. It was as if I had turned back the clock by several years. My face was brighter, my posture was more relaxed, and my spirit was lighter. I felt younger, not just in appearance but in my energy and outlook on life. I laughed more easily, loved more deeply, and lived more fully. It was a transformation that went beyond the surface. It was a rebirth of my spirit, a renewal of my soul. Looking back, I realized that the changes happened gradually, layer by layer. It was like peeling away the years of stress, fatigue, and negativity that had weighed me down. Each night of the routine was a step towards healing, a step towards rediscovering my youthful spirit. It took time, yes, but it was worth every moment of patience and perseverance. So, how long does it take to notice real changes? It depends on how consistent you are and how deeply you commit to the process. Some people may feel a difference in 2 weeks. Others may see visible changes in 1 month. But to experience a profound transformation, to feel truly renewed inside and out, you must be willing to give it at least 3 to 6 months. It's not about rushing the process. It's about allowing the routine to work its magic over time. I learned that the journey itself is part of the reward. Each night became a moment of peace, a chance to reflect, to breathe, to let go of the day's worries. It became a gift I gave myself, a way of saying, I matter. My well-being matters. And that was the greatest change of all. I began to see myself with kinder eyes, to treat myself with more love and respect. That inner transformation radiated outward, making me look and feel younger than I had in years. I won't lie to you. It takes patience, commitment, and faith. There will be days when you doubt the process, days when you don't feel like doing it. But if you stick with it, if you trust the journey, you will see the changes. You will feel them, not just on your face, but in your heart, your soul, your spirit. And one day, you'll look in the mirror and see a face that not only looks younger, but also reflects the joy, peace, and vitality that you've cultivated within. That's the real magic of this night routine. It doesn't just change how you look. It changes who you are. And that kind of change is timeless. What common bedtime habits might be unknowingly aging you faster? One of the worst habits, one that I was guilty of for far too long, is staying glued to screens right before bed. I used to scroll through my phone, checking news updates, answering messages, or watching videos, thinking it was a way to unwind. But that blue light from the screen was playing a cruel trick on me. It was messing with my sleep, making it harder for me to fall asleep and stay asleep. I would wake up feeling tired, my eyes puffy, and my skin looking dull. It wasn't until I learned about how blue light disrupts melatonin production that I realized why I always looked so worn out. Melatonin is that precious hormone that tells our body it's time to rest and repair. Without it, we don't get the deep restorative sleep that keeps us looking youthful and vibrant. I eventually made it a rule to turn off all screens at least 1 hour before bed, and it was like a magic spell. I started waking up feeling refreshed, and my face looked brighter, more alive. Then there was my bad habit of not washing my face before bed. I used to tell myself that I was too tired or that it didn't matter since I hadn't worn any makeup. But even without makeup, my skin had collected dirt, oils, and pollutants from the day. Sleeping with all that grime on my face was clogging my pores and preventing my skin from breathing and repairing itself overnight. It was only when I began washing my face every night, no matter how exhausted I was, that I noticed a remarkable difference. My skin felt cleaner, softer, and those fine lines that had started to creep in began to fade. It was as if my skin was finally able to breathe and rejuvenate, just by giving it the simple gift of cleanliness. Another habit that was aging me faster than I realized was staying up late, convincing myself that I was just a night owl. I thought I was being productive by working late or catching up on my favorite shows, but the truth was that I was robbing myself of precious sleep. Our bodies do most of their repair and regeneration between 10 at night and 2 in the morning. By staying up past midnight, I was missing out on those crucial hours when my body could heal itself, replenish cells, and restore my energy. It took discipline, but I started going to bed earlier, aiming to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. It wasn't easy at first, but the payoff was incredible. I looked and felt younger, more energized, more alive. I also used to think that a nightcap, a glass of wine or a little whiskey, would help me relax and sleep better. But alcohol was another sneaky culprit, silently aging me from the inside out. While it did make me feel drowsy at first, it was disrupting my sleep cycles, preventing me from reaching the deep restorative stages of sleep. I would wake up in the middle of the night, feeling dehydrated and restless. My skin looked dry, my eyes puffy, and my face looked worn and tired. When I finally gave up the nightcap and replaced it with a glass of water or herbal tea, I slept more soundly, and my face lost that tired, weathered look. I'll tell you about another habit I was guilty of. I used to sleep on my stomach or with my face smashed into the pillow. It seemed harmless, but it was causing sleep lines on my face that eventually turned into permanent wrinkles. It took a while, but I trained myself to sleep on my back or at least on my side with a silk pillowcase. That silk pillowcase was a game changer. It was gentler on my skin, preventing those sleep lines, and it also helped keep my hair from getting tangled and frizzy. It was such a simple change, but it made a world of difference. Stress was another enemy that followed me to bed every night. I used to replay the day's events in my head, worrying about what I did or didn't do, what tomorrow would bring. I didn't realize it then, but all that stress was causing my body to release cortisol, the stress hormone that breaks down collagen and makes us look older. It wasn't just about the worry lines on my forehead. It was the way my whole face looked tense, tired, and drained. I had to teach myself to let go of the day before going to bed. I started a habit of writing down my thoughts, releasing my worries onto paper so that they wouldn't follow me into my dreams. I also practiced deep breathing, letting each breath calm my mind and body. It helped me sleep better, but more importantly, It helped me wake up looking peaceful and rested. Even the temperature of my bedroom was aging me without me knowing it. I used to sleep in a room that was too warm because it felt more comfortable, but it was disrupting my sleep and making my skin look puffy and tired. I learned that keeping the room cooler, around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, helps the body produce melatonin and promotes deeper sleep. It took some getting used to, but once I made the change, I noticed that I woke up feeling more refreshed and looking more vibrant. These were habits I never thought twice about. They seemed so small, so insignificant. But once I changed them, once I started being mindful of how I treated myself before bed, everything changed. I began to look and feel younger, more alive, more vibrant. It wasn't about expensive products or complicated routines. It was about making simple, conscious choices to take better care of myself. It took time, patience, and discipline, but the results were worth every effort. So if you're feeling older than you should, if you're waking up tired or noticing lines and wrinkles that seem to appear out of nowhere, take a closer look at your bedtime habits. Sometimes, the smallest changes can make the biggest difference. It did for me, and I have no doubt it can do the same for you. If you liked today's discussion, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel, so until next time, take care.